but I'm really eager to kind of dive into your whole story, plus all the stuff you're working on, especially in a Substack environment, which is where we're at. Have you done a lot of these lives before?
I've done a few. I'm kind of almost a virgin, but I've had a few experiences.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay, I'm just going to have you start with a little bit of your background bio so we can get some context.
Okay, sure. And a heads up, I sound like, for anyone who knows the reference, Kathleen Turner from Body Heat 1981. I have a cold. I was just talking to my editor this morning and I'm like, I really do sound very raspy and not like,
No, it's sexy.
but
It's
any,
sexy. I didn't know that was 1981, by the way. That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kinda crazy, but anyway. So, I guess my, Cliff Note version of the bio is I was in consumer PR and then pivoted to the luxury space and fashion PR. Then I, marketed an invention of my father's in the architectural and design world, which was really cool.
What was that?
Well, the design in the company was called New Metal Surfaces, and my father had an invention that basically took natural materials like oxidized metals and ground stone and glass, and he kind of pulverized it and mixed it, and it was kind of a proprietary technique, and he fused it onto a regular wall covering substrate, and it went on the wall like standard wall covering, but it looked three-dimensional. So we did some crazy things, like we did a lot of projects with David Rockwell,
Mm,
um, did Nobu's, and we did a Saks Fifth Avenue. We did
so
corporate
fun.
residential. It was very cool. And then, after that, I kind of pivoted to the fashion world, and started my own accessory and clothing showroom. I mean, most normal people would actually work for a showroom first, but I was like,
You went into that business sight unseen.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, let's just go for it. That's what you do when you're in your 30s. So, um, kind of insane. So I did that. I had that for about 12 years in the Flatiron district.
A lot of
Um,
traveling. You're in
yeah,
Europe all the time?
I was. I did a lot of Paris Fashion Weeks and yeah, it was very, very intense. And then after I had my daughter Lily, who is now 23, I just decided it was too much. I mean, I was working like 70 hours a week, coming home, something kind of had to give. So I started consulting with my showroom specialized in emerging brands, and I
Mhm.
I continued to work in the emerging brand sector for a while. Worked with a lot of
Always luxury.
luxury and contemporary. I mean, it was kind of a hybrid showroom, but I did probably my biggest store I worked with was Barney's, Rip,
RIP for sure.
Fred Siegel. Also, sort of rest in peace also. But yeah, so that was my background, and so I really I took a step back doing less full-time, more consulting work while Lily was growing up. And
So brands would bring you in to kind of work on sales strategy,
exactly, exactly.
retail
Sales
relationships.
strategy, would the best fit for you be to go with a showroom? Should you do trade shows? What are the, best stores, both brick and mortar and some of the websites like Net-a-Porter, Moda,
Right,
you name
right,
it.
right.
So,
Okay.
yeah. And
So a
then
lot of direct with founder kind of relationships and designers.
yes, direct, a lot of emerging. And when I had my showroom, obviously the goal was to take them from emerging to larger. And yeah, one of those was like Irene Newworth,
I was
who,
gonna say, who were some of your favorites or heroes? Irene is amazing.
yeah, Irene Newworth. I worked with this amazing knitwear designer called Suchi, and she was in a lot of great stores. She's kind of doing her own thing now. All kinds of people, Patch New York. Yeah,
Mhm,
Maria
mhm.
Turgeon, who went on to work at Coach. So yeah, I mean, a lot of different people
Different.
in the accessory and clothing world. Yeah.
Okay, so then when you wound that down, you were consulting for a while, and
Mhm.
then we met, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago
Yeah.
now in, the
And it
Hamptons at
did.
Clairvy pop-up,
Mhm.
and you were clearly a fashionable human that was hyper connected, and so, it's been so fun just to watch your journey and obviously joining the board and, kind of all of our efforts collectively around shifting experiences and talents into kind of new businesses, and so, um, I love that now you've built out iEdit, which is amazing, and obviously Substack as a focus, but can you share, kind of this creative life you live, right?
Mhm.
This is how I think of you. Look at your background, look at what you're wearing, and everything about you feels just so incredibly creative and vibrant. And clearly, that's been your whole career with everything that you've touched. But can you share a little bit more about how what creativity actually means to you now? It obviously prompted you to build iEdit, and then I want to go a little deeper into that for people that aren't as aware.
Sure. That's such a good question. I mean, it's funny because maybe people don't know. I had originally met you because there was a lot of chatter when I was thinking about starting a Substack or this platform, which is iEdit, that features kind of disparate creatives in all different fields from fashion to beauty, um, design, photography, the food world. I wanted to create a platform where these really interesting creatives could kind of come to life and talk about who their favorite under the
Mm,
radar creatives are. So, kind of the intel from the creatives giving their favorites. And when I was thinking of starting, people were like, "Oh, do you know April? You really need to talk to her because she started this amazing organization, the board." And we just kept circling back from like, we have a lot of mutual friends, you and
mhm,
I, and also a lot of colleagues. And your name just kept coming up over and over,
mhm.
which, by the way, speaks to the power of word of mouth. I mean,
Oh,
forget
yeah,
about marketing and say, I
yeah.
mean, it's just, anyway. So that's how, and then when I saw you at the Claire V pop up in Amagansett, which actually my friend Lou Senafonte and Rania Giangola were a
Mhm.
part of, I was like, "Oh my god, this is kismet. This is meant to be." So that's how it started, and then when we
I didn't
talked,
realize you were incubating iEdit back then.
yes, I was
Yeah,
incubating it, and I had like, you had been on my radar, and
okay.
then when we talked, you were like, "Oh, do you wanna join the board? This is what I'm doing." So then it kind of really, like, organically grew from there.
No, and you've been such an amazing member as well as just the deep connections across, our community where the whole point is how do we support each other? How do we, um, be each other's sounding board? How do we influence each other in terms of the things that we're thinking about and we're aspiring to do, but also sharing knowledge and networks. And so I love that you've incorporated so many board members in iEdit as well, which is, so fun to watch. But just kind of okay, so iEdit in a nutshell is, like you said, desk creatives sharing their views on.
Yeah. So, and by the way, featuring so many of the board members on my iEdit honestly speaks to the community of creatives on the board in all these fields. But so yeah, my idea was, I was kind of being a little bit analog and retro in my thinking that like I still love to hold a magazine and a book
Mm,
and like those days, when you were in the editorial world and people like Larissa and Sarah Meikle and all of our kind of friends in who have been with Condé Nast or Hearst and picking up and looking through and feeling kind of having that magazine format. So I wanted to create a place where it wasn't just one kind of creative field. It was multiple creative
right,
fields
no, I
from,
love that because it's not
yeah.
so singular.
So, yeah, and I'm trying to really get to that sweet spot. Like, it's not necessarily the creative that is so obscure, but they could be. Like, it
Mhm.
could be a ceramicist from Oaxaca who we're featuring in the future, but it's really somebody like everybody that we feature, nobody is vanilla or mainstream. They all have a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't
Yeah.
know. something quirky, a little bit off. It could be texture, color. So yeah, my idea was just to kind of have this community of discovery for people. Like, what do other
Well, if you think about it, like,
people
where
love?
do people find things now? You know, obviously there's
Right,
TikTok and Instagram, but, of real, like, influence and
right,
trust in terms of, there's some amazing editors obviously on Substack. So many people that moved out of magazine life, to your point.
right.
Members like Jamie Rosen, who
Yeah,
also, has an amazing
yeah,
Substack in beauty, but really using that outlet in a way that allows you to take all of your knowledge and, kind of years in different industries and actually for the first time really have your own voice on it, right? There's no publisher that you have to answer to or no um, arbiter other than yourself, which is
mhm,
incredibly powerful and creative. And it's something, especially in the world today where, AI, everything, to your point of tactile and really understanding the story and the journey. I think journey stories are so inspiring and really where Substack wins in this
right.
behind the scenes kind of approach. And so how much do you bring yourself into these people you edit and how much is, as an editor presenting um,
Mhm.
in the front end?
Yeah, it's interesting also, I was just having a conversation with, my editor, Sarah, who's amazing, who we were talking about, we get so much intel from the creatives that we feature
It's just
that
been
we should do like an almost sort of a whisper down the lane, like telephone of, so this creative, Mariana Velasquez, recommends this jewelry designer and this chef, and so we try and we're starting to incorporate more, not just the people that I select, but the people that our creatives recommend and truly have that kind of connective tissue.
was
Um,
an incredible ecosystem, that you can harness from that perspective. And, it's so similar to the board as well, so we've been organic in the way that we've grown. It's whoever comes in, what, you know, view they have, what perspective, what industries, what disciplines. And that's, like I said, what inspires all of us. And I love you've captured obviously so beautifully. It's such an aesthetic, incredible piece. And I feel like aesthetics is important in your life. I think
it is.
as we age, we get less and less stuff, maybe better stuff that just makes us really happy.
I
You seem
couldn't
to be a
agree
collector.
more. Yeah, pardon me.
You seem to be a collector of things.
Yeah, but you know what? To your point, I'm really I'm paring down and I'm trying to buy less and much more thoughtfully. Yeah, I mean I'm still really into vintage and I have to hold myself back from like getting more vintage things, but that's probably my
Your
my
Achilles heel.
'cause I'm like, the person when they say, "Oh, this is the most popular of the season," I'm like, "Okay, bye-bye, show me something else."
Right.
Unless it's something like I'm already dying for that I know, like, with intention, like, I loved it.
What have
And
you discovered from your edits that you actually either went and purchased or, want to travel to? I know you capture so many different things, but have there been moments where you're writing or reading something that someone's written, then you immediately act on?
yeah, great question. I mean, I would certainly say I've detailed a lot of travel advice and restaurant advice. One of my friends who actually you met in Rome, Alyssa Weinstein Gravina, she did, my editor Sarah came up with this great idea to do like a travel story for the holidays through the lens of our eye editors. Um, and it's funny, one of them was like a kind of, what do you call it? Like, not a fight off, but like, a contest between New York City and Rome pizza. And like, she did it was really
I love
hilarious. So because Alyssa's in New York a lot. And so, but anyway, I get a
so
lot of,
so who won? Who wins?
yeah, it's a good question. I kind of
I
think,
actually didn't have pizza in Rome now that I think about it. I'm bummed. I missed that.
yeah, I mean, if you ask her husband, who's Italian, it's definitely Rome, and if you ask Alyssa, she'd probably say New York, but anyway, yeah, I take copious notes on who's recommending what. I mean, from jewelry to flea markets to, one of my first, um eye editors, Joanna Williams, a creative from
Mhm.
LA who I adore. She has this insane textile collection, vintage from all over the world. And one day I actually went in and saw this collection with Mariana Velasquez. We were all doing an event with Natalie Martin, and
Mhm.
we went in and we saw her collection, and I was just I wanted to get everything. I mean, that is
Mhm.
kind of my wheelhouse where I really nerd out. So I am going to India in October, so I'm going to visit
Nice.
a lot of like of these
Have you been
vintage.
before?
I did, but it
No.
was a sad story. I got
Mm.
COVID and had to come home. It was you know how the New York Times does 36 hours in?
Bless
Mine
you.
like 36 hours in India for 34 hours of travel. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was
Okay, so
so
this trip is long overdue.
yeah, so
Um,
that was a few years ago, so yes.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, but
Um,
I don't know if I actually answered your question. Did you
no, it's I mean, to me, it's when you're around inspiring things, it's easy to get kind of caught up, but I continue to make more and more short lists, and I
Mhm.
think, trusted recommendations is really everything,
Yes,
and especially as it relates to discovery and inspiration, and I think what I'm seeing with all these editors on Substack, it gets less commercialized, which is great, right? No one's like, it's not a pay to play model in that same way. Yes,
right.
there's my links going back and you can, monetize. But it really is an outlet for just incredible individual expression. And how much are you spending on it? This is obviously now your kind of one of your full-time focuses. Are you still consulting too?
Um, I haven't honestly
Yeah.
been doing much. I actually got asked to do kind of a random, very cool project. It's short-lived. The Olympic gold medalist who won for the US in ice hockey is up for an MVP, and I was asked to style her for
Fun.
the ESPY Awards. But so I'm doing a few little things, trying to pull from the designers that I've worked with. And yeah, so I've been doing that. But honestly, I'm doing
Yeah.
very little consulting now. I'm spending at least 50 to 60 hours a week
Cool.
on I edit.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well,
feel
I don't think people realize, like, what a lift this kind of work is, to edit it down to something so beautiful and succinct and, well written, well curated, and then the variety of people that you have.
yeah,
It's, um,
it
it
is
just
a
when
lot.
you're on the receiving end, it just feels just like a light and lovely
Thank
experience, but
you.
it's a lot of work going in.
I mean, one of the things I appreciate that, and I do have to, as I have throughout this call, give a lot of credit to Sarah because she does a ton of editing, and I do have Serena
Great
who's been
team.
doing
Yeah.
a lot of the graphics. But one of the things that we've really been we try and be editorially pure in a way because we're not interested in just doing lists. We're not like a list
Right.
Substack. We really want to do a deep dive, like on these interesting creatives in all these different fields and see what their inspiration is. And again, we keep going back to being reader centric. What is the sense of discovery for the subscriber? And are we interested in the story? And we just keep expanding what we're doing, and we are tweaking some of the formats. But yeah, so we really have to try. Like I started one of the things that's been really hard for me as my editor said, you need to start doing a monthly editor's letter so that people get to know you
Yeah,
as the voice behind iEdit.
completely. I
So I'm
agree.
trying to do that. It hasn't been easy, but I'm doing every
But it
month
but it is
doing
true because
editor's letter.
you are the why, right? It's your life, your perspective, your view. If you're editing it into all these different talents, and different journey stories, right? I think that's the beautiful thing is it's coming from your perspective. And so yeah, the more we know about you, the better. Um,
And I also and one of the things I also feel like uh, it's a bit full circle in terms of my kind of experience in design and fashion and PR, and I've just been meeting so many incredible creatives, like when I met your dear friend Amy Nunzinger.
yeah, yeah.
What a spectacular Monday night that was. I
Well,
as my link said, not your average Monday.
yeah, not your average Monday. But this is kind of where we are in this life, right? I think for those of us on the other side of 50, really kind of editing to, like we talked about, into the things that we love, the people we want around us, but being constantly inspired by those people and what they're seeing and who they're, really following. I hate, following
Yeah,
is such a
yeah.
flat word, but it really is the way we discover and we maybe think a little bit differently because we saw that or read that or heard their approach to something that. And I love when you say quirky and a little outside the box because no one wants a vanilla life at this point. And I think the algorithms continue to send us the same stuff over and over. And so how to break ourselves out of those algorithms is through different people's, perspectives. And like I said, that ecosystem that you're creating is so powerful and clearly inspires for the long term. What are you thinking in terms of evolution of this, right? Like it started with, when we first met and started talking about, you're like, I have this idea, I'm going to edit some people, and where it is now, right? It's been just like night and day, but also so rich and so much to mine. And I love that you're going to continue to kind of extrapolate those things and see where those little roads take you. But do you see this as something, becomes a marketplace? Like, is there any other big, I guess, North Stars on this, or is it really organically leading you
I
day by
mean I mean, it's interesting because we are I mean, the goal would be to continue this magazine format. I have been a little reticent with the affiliate links. It's been if the creative recommends something, they
right?
are
It was really
linkable.
organic.
Those are organic. Nothing is in there that I'm never saying, "Oh, please give us things that are linkable." And that's been, I mean, in terms of monetizing has been from a business standpoint more challenging.
Yeah,
But so we are constantly evolving in terms of the how we're going to scale.
got it.
But we are scaling and it's happening and we're constantly like I'm very open to new ideas in editorial and so we are I would say in
Partnership
evolution.
opportunities, things like that.
But yeah, pardon me?
Partnership opportunities, things
Yes,
like
partnership opportunities, exactly. And one of the things that you were saying earlier, which I thought was so interesting, like I feel that there's so much of the sameness
yeah,
in the retail space. And I think people are really hungry not to see the same things over and over.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and being on the wholesale and retail side for so long, I understand the fear because, you have to sell through, you want to do things that are safe. The retail climate has been so challenging now. I've got so many friends and colleagues in the world and it's really really hard. So,
Uh,
you're not seeing these kind of quirky brands and
no.
or designers or makers, and that's what I wanna bring to people.
No, I love that. It kind of goes back to our Barney's conversation where they really were one of those retailers that would spend the time to build a brand and give it almost like a year or 2, on the
Yeah,
floor.
yes,
But now people just can't make those investments and they don't, and most of them don't even want to own the inventory anymore. So if you're looking at a lot of drop ship marketplaces or retail partners, and then the flip side, as we know, is challenging just in a paid marketing perspective to cut through. And I do think it goes um, back to people that are, kind of following around a certain lifestyle, a certain perspective, and then, incorporating those brands into those experiences that are both a storytelling behind it, potentially a real life thing. I know you've touched on pop-ups this as well, and that could
yeah,
maybe be another
yes,
option.
yes, I was thinking actually, funny you brought that up, of
Mhm.
doing, a pop-up featuring a lot of the creatives that we have featured, some kind of an activation so that they can meet each other, and I'm getting all these different creatives together in one
Wow.
space,
I
and
mean,
like
we're just really wanting that. I mean, we're kind of screened out, as we all know, and for those of us that will probably never go back to a full-time job and are gonna be working independently, where that time is spent to connect and to and not even the word network, but be inspired by
Right.
other people that are changing their journeys, but are still creating beautiful things. I think to me, same. I want like physical. I want to get together in person. I want to, see someone's work and not just,
Right.
I don't
Right.
know, you get an email and a click to buy.
No, exactly. And it's exactly what people are not looking for.
Yeah.
That sense of discovery is really, I think, kind of huge again, because especially with all the sameness.
Well, and
It's
you've done a great job. Like, I've been introduced to so many people I would not know otherwise, if I hadn't seen them through you. So it's our worlds get smaller, right? So we need to have, those people that can help expand them because, that does go both ways, right? If we're working
right.
in a different way and we don't maybe have constant, I guess, interaction around us. And so having
Mhm.
to seek it out, but then making sure, time is precious. If you're going to spend a half a day or take these hours to go do that thing, and so we're looking for guides, and I think you're doing an incredible job. For anyone who doesn't already subscribe and follow and, support, it'd be amazing to kind of join her on this journey, but Elisa is just such a super talent, and I'm so grateful for
Mm,
you and
my
being
gosh.
part
Okay.
of our community.
Okay.
Also continue to inspire me, so thank you for that.
My pleasure. Thank you for all the inspiration and all the direction over the years.
Well, much more to come.
Yeah.
We're all one step at a time, but I really appreciate how important you place beauty, I guess, in terms of joy, and there's
Yeah.
a vibrancy around you always that is you're a very glass half full person from the day I met you, and that is what we all need in the world right now. So, appreciate
Thank
your
you so
energy and
much.
adore you, and much more to come.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, April. This was great.
Yeah. Talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye all.